Welcome, everyone, to this edition of Our Travel Experiences. I'm your host, Kyle Rasmussen. Today is episode 55. Kind of amazing to think that I'm here 55 weeks later. Pretty insane. So today I thought I'd talk about my first international trip, which has kind of started me on this whole journey. So back in 2018 is when I took my first, or sorry, not 2018, 2014 is when I took my first international trip. I had just graduated from high school and I went on a tour to Europe with a couple people in my French class and our French teacher. And we ended up meeting with a bigger group and got to tour a little bit of Europe. So how this kind of came about, I don't know all the behind the scenes. My parents just kind of let me know that this was something that I could do if I wanted to as a sort of graduation present type of thing from high school. I think maybe because my cousin went on the trip with me as well. He was in the same class as me at school, and we both were in our French class together. And so I think it just kind of the stars aligned with our French teacher wanting to take a trip. Every couple of years, she would take some students on an international trip. And then with my cousin and I's graduation, and then a couple of people that wanted to go on the trip, it just kind of all worked out. So we did some planning. There was 4 of us from the French class that went, and then our French teacher, and we had two other chaperones that were a part of it. And then, like I said, we met up. We went through a company called EF Tours, which is a well-known company. They do a lot of educational tours. A lot of students and university students have tours with them as they're focused on education a lot. And so we met up with a bigger group when we got as part of the tour. So there, I think all in all, there was like maybe, I want to say probably between 30 and 40 people on the trip altogether. Somewhere in that area. There's people from all over the U.S. I remember there was this group from North Carolina that we talked with a bit, and we're close with on that trip. And so we started the trip. So the 4 of us and then 3 chaperones. Once we had everything ready, I had graduated, and it wasn't too long after that, maybe a couple weeks after that. We started the trip, and we first flew from Seattle to Toronto, and that was my first time flying internationally, technically. And then we flew from Toronto to Switzerland. We flew into Zurich, Switzerland, and it was, I don't know, I had a hard time sleeping on the plane because I was excited, and I'm not a great sleeper on planes, as I've learned over the years. But we landed in Zurich, and we met up with our trip leader. I believe his name was Daniel, if I can remember correctly. It's been almost 10 or almost 9 years since that happened, so that's that's kind of crazy. But so we met up with him. We waited for, there's a couple other people on the trip that came in later. So we kind of hung out at the airport for a little bit, exchanged some money, all that sort of stuff. It was kind of nerve-wracking, but also exciting to be, exchanging money for the first time and doing all those things for the first time in an international airport, to see things that were not English, and that sort of thing was really cool too. So then once everyone was there, we took our bus to. We went into town first. So we took the bus into town. We did a little walking tour of Zurich. It was beautiful. It was just a perfect day there. I don't remember a lot of the details of that walking tour other than just really enjoying all the old buildings and that sort of thing. I was also really struggling with jet lag by that point too. I was getting tired because I hadn't really slept at all in the whole travel process to get there. So I was starting to get really tired. And then after that tour, we took the bus to to our hotel, which was just outside of the city. It was like 20 minutes away or something like that, or to our hostel where we stayed. And on the bus ride, I totally passed out. So I have no idea how long it was actually, or what happened in that time frame. So yeah, I passed out pretty hard. But then we went to the hostel. We had a room with 4 beds in it. We had one bathroom for the 4 of us guys. It was kind of fun. I remember what we turned on the TV, and Family Guy happened to be on, and it was all, I think it was all in German. And it was just hilarious to listen to it in another language. I understood nothing of it, but it just sounded so weird to me. I remember, and then I remember we went and walked around the town a little bit, the little area that we were in. Um, Got some snacks, some Swiss snacks and drinks and stuff like that, and yeah, just kind of enjoyed the afternoon, the evening. I think we all had dinner as a group that night at some point. I don't remember exactly. And yeah, anyways, um, I believe it was the next day. Um, I don't know. It's hard to remember all the dates specifically, but the next day I know we went into Zurich again, and we toured more of the city. I remember we got to go to the Rolex shop and factory, I guess, right on the water there, and it was amazing because uh, I think there's 4 floors. Each floor you went up, the watches got nicer and more expensive. And I remember the top floor, we took the elevator up and it opened up, and there's a couple people up there, but there was one guy behind a counter, and he was in a white coat, and he was working on a watch. He had the glasses on and everything. Looked like a surgeon in there. And close to the elevator, they had one watch up there. That was the only watch other than the one that the guy was working on that we saw. And he or it was in a glass case, and the price on it was 30,000 euros, which was it just blew my mind for sure. And we were like, yeah, this is probably not where we need to be right now. So I took the elevator back down to the first floor. But I remember that really standing out to me. That was a fun highlight that I still haven't forgotten all these years later. Um, and then it was that night, I believe, that we went back to our hostel, and it was during the World Cup that we were there. It just so happened that Switzerland was in the World Cup, and we were in Switzerland during the World Cup, and they were playing that night. And so the 4 of us we were walking around town, and we actually found a local pub there, a local bar. And we walk in, and it's just packed in there, and they got the game on, and people are cheering and stuff, and we were hanging out and whatever. And that was the first, I believe that was the first bar where I actually drank in, that I went into and drank, from what I remember. I think, yeah, because I was 18 at the time. So yeah, that had to have been the first one, I guess. And so, yeah, we went in there, and we watched the game, and or watched the match. And each time, so Switzerland won 2-0 in that game. I don't remember who they played, but when they scored, or maybe it was 3-0. I don't know. My memory's a little fuzzy now, but um, each time they scored, the bartender, and I'm assuming the owner, brought around a shot for everyone for free, apparently. And so we had a couple shots for free while we were drinking some beer there, and it was really a fun time. That was a really cool moment that was sort of unplanned. Just we happened to look out that we were there on the perfect day at the perfect time to be able to do that. Um, yeah, so that was a ton of fun. Really happy that I got to do that. And then from there we went. That was the last that we spent in Zurich, and then we went to Lucerne the next day. And this is kind of a quick like highlights tour that we went on. But we drove down to Lucerne, and I believe we just spent the one day there. But it's a beautiful, beautiful city. The bridges there are amazing. I still have a really beautiful picture of the bridge there, one of the bridges there with all the flowers and everything. But we did a little tour around there as well, and then we went to. Let me see if I can find the name of it. We took a ferry over to one of the mountains that is right there by Lucerne. And oh shoot, I can't find it. Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah, Mount Pilatus or Pilatus, I think. We got to take the there's like a train that took us up to the top there, and we got to look out over Lucerne. It was just beautiful. The whole surrounding area was just beautiful. It was a really perfect day for it too. And then we took the cable car um, back down from there, and then I think from there we went into we took the bus down to where we stayed in Italy. I don't remember exactly where we stayed. We stayed up in the mountains somewhere. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. I'm trying to look on the map here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't remember exactly. But anyways, one of the next days, we stayed in Lucerne that night. We must have stayed in Lucerne that night. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But anyways, I remember we drove into Italy, passed by the edge of Lake Como, and then we went down to Milan, and we got to tour Milan for a day or part of a day. Got to see the main square there, the Duomo, all the shopping that was right next to it. I remember the four of us, we just kind of walked around a lot. We went all over the place, and yeah, I got to see a lot of beautiful things. We went to the gardens there, from what I remember, and we didn't really do anything else there. It was kind of a quick stop, from what I remember. And then we went to our hostel, which was somewhere in the mountains, close to Cinque Terre, which again I don't know how to pronounce. I've tried to pronounce it so many different ways. I don't know the right way to pronounce it, but a beautiful area on the northern Italian coast. It is. Let's see where exactly it is. So Cinque Terre is the 5 cities. They're all right along the coast there, just north of Pisa a little ways. And we stayed in a really cool hostel up in the mountains just outside of there. And they had a cool swimming pool, and we just hung out that night, had a really good dinner and everything. I remember that being a really fun night. Got to know a lot of the North Carolina people on the trip on that night, which was fun. And then the next day we went into Cinque Terre itself. We didn't go to all 5 cities, but we went to 3 of them, I believe. I know we went to Manarola, we went to Vernazza, and Monterosso, I believe. And just spent the whole day in that area. It was just beautiful, perfect summer day at the end of June, and the water was amazing. The Mediterranean was great. Got a lot of great pictures. Got some sun. Great food, gelato. Got some beautiful pictures, and just the beauty there is amazing. Definitely one of the most beautiful spots that I've been to for sure around the world, and still one of my favorite spots to visit to this day. So yeah, we spent the day there, which is great. I definitely recommend if you're going to Italy, especially if you're in northern Italy, you should make the effort to go see that that part of Italy, because it's absolutely beautiful, as is all of Italy, to be honest with you. So then from there we drove along the coast and drove along the coast of Italy west, and we crossed into, I guess you cross into France first, which I remember doing that. I still have some sunglasses that would. I still have some sunglasses that I bought at the right there at the border, and I don't know why I still have those, but they're orange and they're cool and I liked them. But kind of a fun souvenir, I guess. And then we drove along the coast a little bit further, and then Monaco, the little tiny country, is there on the coast there, next to South France. And we went to this perfume place there. I don't remember the name of it. Let's see if I can find it. Perfume. I don't remember exactly, but we went to a perfume factory there, and that was a really cool tour. Talked all about the different scents and how they make them and the whole process, and it was wild. And I got a few perfumes for my mom at that time. But I remember when we were in Monaco there, just seeing all of the massive yachts out in the water. I mean, it was just, again, perfect summer day, and sun was shining. The Mediterranean looked beautiful, and there was just all of these super yachts out there, and it was just crazy to see. um, yeah. So after the perfume factory there, we went, I guess, back into France, and then we went to Nice, which is there in the south of France, and we got to tour that for a little bit. The four of us walked. A lot of times we would just go walk off on our own, which probably wasn't the best, but I mean we had free time to go do that. So we walked to the city of Nice there a little ways, went to one of the main plazas there, and yeah, just kind of enjoyed the sunshine a little bit. And after our tour there, and then from there we drove along the coast some more, and we spent the night in the Provence region, the Provence area. Don't remember exactly where, but yeah, it was. I mean, it was beautiful where we were. But that night, so we stayed in the hostel again, and it was just it was a really warm night that night when we were there. And so we had left our window open because there's no air conditioning in a lot of those places. And it just happened that I was on the bottom bunk, like closest to the window, I guess. Anyways, I apparently got bit by something in the middle of the night on my foot. And I'll get more into that a little bit later, but that became an issue towards the end of the trip. But that next day, we toured the Provence area a little bit. We went to, I believe it was Avignon. Look up these names. Oh yeah, we went up to Avignon. Got to see the castle there, and yeah, we saw the lavender at one place. I don't remember exactly where, but yeah, that was a fun day in Avignon. And we spent a lot of time driving on this trip too, because we covered a lot of ground, obviously, as you can see. And then from there, we went into, I guess we continued along the south of France to Carcassonne. look up exactly where that's at. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so then we went to Carcassonne, which is still in the south of France. There, just off the water, close to the Spanish border and Andorra. um, Went there. We went to the castle. It's an old medieval town. We walked through, all the medieval streets and everything. Got to see the beautiful river that runs by it. Lots of beautiful old architecture for sure. So that was a lot of fun. I definitely recommend if you're happening to go to France, you want to go to the south of France. I think it's great to. I really enjoyed kind of touring along the south of France and just getting to see all the towns, because there's a lot of famous towns, a lot of history in the south of France there. um, and it was fun to see all the different towns along the way. You get to experience a lot of different things. And so then from there, after Carcassonne, we drove down to Barcelona, which was our final stop on the tour. And by then, my foot was starting to hurt a little bit more. It got a little bit more swollen, for sure. And I believe we were on like our second to last day. I know, like when we first got there, like it was in the evening, and we went and toured close to the water. I remember we went close to the water. What was the name of it was the main street. I know we had a really good dinner at this one place that had books everywhere. Don't know the name of it now, but anyways, we went on one of the main streets, one of the main roads, and we walked up and down it. I mean, there were shops everywhere, all sorts of cool stuff to see and do. And then that night we were just at the hotel, and I remember my foot was was getting more swollen. And then the next day or was it either that night? It must have been the next night. Maybe it was that night. Okay. I'm just going to say, because I don't remember anymore, but I'm going to say it was that night that we first got into Barcelona. My foot was getting pretty swollen. It was becoming an issue where my foot was not fitting in my shoe very well at all. And so we talked to the trip leader, Daniel, and I was like, hey, like, this is an issue. Like, what should we do? Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, with the insurance things and whatever, like, probably just wait till you get back to the U.S., because it was only going to be a couple more days, essentially, till I was back home. And so we're like, okay. But I was like, man, my foot is not great. And so being the 17 and 18-year-olds that we were, the four of us guys, we had the bright idea in our hotel room there in Barcelona. One of the guys on the trip, he had bought a pocket knife, a Swiss Army knife in Switzerland, and so we were like, hey, we could at least get some of the pus out of this foot and make it so that my foot can fit into my shoe, and we can make it home, essentially. And so, oh gosh, this is one of my favorite memories. Also, very terrible memory, but we wanted to be smart about it, so we put the knife under boiling water to sterilize it, and then the two guys held me down, and then my cousin, he had my foot. I was pinned to the couch, and he held my foot, and he made an incision into my foot in our hotel room, and it hurt like hell, but we got a lot of pus out, actually. it was actually really, really helpful. I think was a huge part of me getting through the rest of the trip and making it home okay, actually. But anyways, we had a little makeshift surgery in our hotel room, which seemed to go well. And then ended up going to bed not too long after. And then the next day, the next day we walked around the city. We got to see the Sagrada Familia. We went to was the Parc de Gaulle, which was beautiful. All the architecture from Gaudi and everything was amazing. We went by the Olympic Stadium, and where else did we go? We went to some sort of lookout point and looked over the city. That was a really fun day. I really enjoyed Barcelona. And then I think that was pretty much it. The next morning we had breakfast and went to the airport there in Barcelona, and we flew out. And I think we had to fly back through Toronto, and then back to Seattle because we were on Air Canada for that trip. But yeah, my foot ended up being okay. I actually never went to the doctor when I got back. It was pretty much fine by the time I got back. I wasn't having any issues, and so I didn't end up going to the doctor at all. I do have a little bit of a scar still from that, but it's nothing crazy at all. But that's a fun story I can share and a fun memory, I guess. But I mean, that was the first international trip I took, and it really changed my life. I had already loved travel before then. I got to travel a lot of the Western U.S. Prior to that, and had already just kind of fallen in love with travel, but that took it to the next level. I realized just how much was out there and how much I could see and get to see all the amazing things around the world. And so I committed, really at that point to make travel a big part of my life. And I wanted to see as much of the world as I can because of that trip. And so, and now here we are. It's been 8.5 years since that time, just over 8.5 years since that trip. And my life has changed a lot. I've traveled a ton. I've stayed committed to that goal of traveling as much as I can. Switzerland was the first country I went to, and so I think we visited 5 countries on that trip. I've now traveled to 29, and so it I don't know. It's been cool to see that progression, see the progression in how I travel. All the experience I've had in traveling to different places, and all the things I've learned and gotten better at as I've traveled, as well as just doing things differently as I've gotten older and being interested in different things as well. But that was an awesome trip. I really thank my parents for letting me do that, for helping me to do that, and letting me see the world, encouraging me to go see the world as well. I think that's something that, I've said it a million times on this podcast, that every American should do when they're coming out of high school, if not before. Have an opportunity to go see the world. Go experience some place that is not the United States of America, because you will see that there's a lot more out there. You'll see that, it'll make you appreciate what you have too. And it'll open your eyes to the world for sure. So, like I always say, I'm trying to make that a part of my life, make that something that I can do, and give people that opportunity to see the world. But I think it'll make the world a better place if we do that and make a commitment to that. But yeah, that was the first trip. Let me know what you guys think of that. I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about it. I apologize. I don't remember a lot of the specifics anymore, because it's been so long, because I've done so many other different travels since then. I can't remember a lot of the specifics. I'd have to really dig back into all the pictures to see specifics and get to know them a little better. I have to do a lot of research again, but I talked about the things that stuck out to me the most for sure. Yeah, so much fun, so amazing. I love travel. I love sharing it with you guys. Thank you for listening to 55 episodes now. If you're new to this, thanks for checking it out, and we'll do another 5 episodes. I'll be back for episode 60, which is insane to say as well. And we'll just keep traveling the world, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon. Hey everybody, Kyle here. If you enjoyed today's show and want more, you can always check out every episode on Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and now Amazon Music as well. Just search for Our Travel Experiences on any of those platforms and it will pop up. You can also find everything all in one place on my website, ourtravelexp.com. And if you want to see my travel pictures as well as travel pictures from guests on the show, you can check them out on Instagram. The page is called Our Travel Experiences Podcast. And if you want to share your own pictures on the Instagram page or be a guest on the podcast, you can message me via that Instagram page or email me at ourtravelexperiences@outlook.com. I would love to see your pictures and hear about your travel experiences, so please send them my way. And if that isn't enough for you, make sure to check out my weekly YouTube show, From Around the World Fridays. Every Friday, I'm taking 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions from listeners, share some souvenirs that I bought over the years, share my postcards over the years that I've accumulated, or share videos and pictures from one particular city or country that I visited, and so much more. So check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. And make sure you go subscribe to that as well. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you somewhere around the world soon.